Okay, let's just get right to it. We might be looking at the single biggest leap in AI, maybe ever. And no, this isn't just another shiny new app. We're talking about a fundamental change in the very nature of work itself.
I've seen the future, and it is right here on this Mac Mini. That's a pretty bold claim, right? But that's what one developer said after spending just a few days with a new kind of AI. His big takeaway? This changes, well, everything.
I mean, really think about that for a second. What if you had an employee who never sleeps, never takes a lunch break, and just works for you around the clock? An assistant, a coder, a researcher, you name it. Well, that's not science fiction anymore. That's the reality we're diving into today. So let's talk about the tech that makes this all possible. It's a new class of AI agent, and I want to be super clear here. This isn't just a tool you use. It's designed from the ground up to be a fully autonomous member of your team. So what is this thing exactly? Well, this particular agent is a free, open-source program that you can install on a computer. It then connects to a powerful AI model, and get this, it can see the screen, control the mouse, type on the keyboard. It can use any application, just like a person would. Okay, there are three features here that make this an absolute game changer. First, it has total control over the computer. I mean, no guardrails, no safety nets. Second, it has this crazy, complex memory system, so it remembers literally everything you've ever told it. And third, and this is wild, you operate it just by sending a text. Yeah, through apps you already use, like Telegram or iMessage. So to make this a little more real, the developer we're looking at here actually named his agent Henry. So now from anywhere in the world, on a plane, at a coffee shop, he can just text Henry and say, hey, can you go on Amazon and buy this for me? Or can you write up that document? And just like that, Henry gets to work on its own dedicated computer back at the office. Insane. Right, I know this all sounds like something out of a movie, but the setup is actually surprisingly straightforward. So let's break down the three core parts you'd need to get your own AI employee up and running. It's basically a simple three-part system. First up, the hardware. You're going to want a dedicated machine for this, so it's not messing with your personal files. Second, you need the agent's framework itself, which, by the way, is free and open source. And third, you need the brain. This is where you connect it to a large language model, the same kind of AI that powers tools like Claude or ChatGPT. Now, choosing that brain, that involves a bit of a trade-off. The developer here really highlights Claude Opus. He says it's the most intelligent, but more importantly, it has the most human-like personality. And that's key, right? It makes the whole thing feel less like you're using a tool and more like you're delegating to a real employee. But hey, there are also way cheaper options like Minimax that can get you started for something like $10 a month. All right, so you've got your AI employees set up. Now for the big question, what can it actually do? Let's take a look at some of the real-world tasks Henry, our AI agent, knocked out in just its first 48 hours. First up, let's talk creative work. The developer actually tasked Henry with writing the script for the very video explaining all this stuff. The agent just went and did it, researched, outlined, and drafted the entire thing all by itself. Next, how about some complex coding? So the developer is sitting at a fast food joint, and he texts Henry, you know what? I want a way to track all your tasks on a project management board. By the time he got home, Henry had coded a completely custom app from scratch to do exactly that. Just wow. And then there's its organizational power. The developer asked Henry to set up a second brain. A system where he could just text it random ideas as they popped into his head, and the agent would automatically sort them, categorize them, and file them into this perfectly organized folder structure for him to look at later. And check this out. This is where that infinite memory thing really comes into play. He told Henry once that he has a newsletter. A few days go by, and bam! Henry, completely on its own, proactively drafts several different options for the next issue. It anticipated the need before he even had to ask. That is next level. So after seeing all this, the developer came to this just stunning conclusion. He said for the first time, he truly believes that the idea of a single person building a billion-dollar company isn't just possible, it's actually plausible. You can do it with this technology acting as your entire workforce. And yeah, that brings us to the really difficult part of this story. Because if one person can suddenly do the work of an entire team, what does that mean for everybody else? The thing that's most alarming here is the sheer speed of it all. I mean, he said, I thought this was 10, 15 years away, but it's not. This isn't some theoretical future we're talking about. It's a free program you can literally download today. And according to him, the world is just not prepared for the impact. So who's most at risk? Well, the prediction is pretty clear. As businesses start to adopt this, they're going to immediately start questioning roles that are centered on computer-based junior-level tasks. We're talking about jobs like paralegals, executive assistants, secretaries. And here's the real kicker. The estimate is that 99.9% of the population has absolutely no idea that this level of automation even exists yet. This change isn't going to be gradual. It's poised to hit like a hurricane that absolutely nobody saw coming. Which, of course, leads to the massive question, right? Is this technology good or bad for humanity? I mean, is this a net positive or a net negative for society? The potential for hyperproductivity is obvious, but so is the potential for just massive job displacement. Well, the argument here is that history just shows us, time and time again, that innovation is an unstoppable force. Trying to fight it? It has never worked. So the verdict is pretty clear. You have two choices. You can try to stop the wave and get swept away, or you can learn how to surf. So at the end of the day, this technology isn't some distant dream anymore. It's here. And it raises a critical question for every single one of us. The 24/7 AI employee is ready and reporting for duty. The only real question left is, are you ready for it?